Hey everybody, you know me, it's Paul with Washington Pro Carpet Cleaning. This house just sold to one of my clients, and I'm here today to get it cleaned up. And they'll be moving in next week, so next Monday I'm gonna go clean the house they're moving out of. Beautiful little yard. It's a 4-bedroom home, and I have the hot water line hooked up to their hot water heater, and I'm going to flush it out to make sure there's no sediment. So I won't be using the bucket heaters in the machine to preheat. I've got the Steam Bright 3-stage vac attached to the top of my Tornado. So we'll have plenty of vacuum. We can run up to 100 feet. Today we're going to run 75 foot of hose. And later in the video, towards the end, I'll do a walkthrough and show you how my van's all set up and what I got in it. I've had a few people ask me if they could see the setup, and I've already got the hose ran. These are quick connect guards so that you don't scratch people's wood. Always a good idea to get those on. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so I apologize. And these carpets are not that dirty. I think they were cleaned right before it sold. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set this down for a minute here. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna pre-spray it. I'm going to mix up the Green Dragon solution in the machine. I'll put 6 ounces in the tank. The tank holds 13 gallons. And then I'll mix it with the hot water right out of the hot water tank. And it gets pretty hot here. I always carry a short flat screwdriver and a pair of channel locks so I can put those on without any leaks. And I was going to show flushing it, but I cannot do that because I have to use the channel locks to turn the dial on the end of the hose here. It's kind of tight for some reason. But I'll go ahead and get it all blown out. Make sure there's no sediment or no rusty water. And then we'll get going. But what I was saying is I'm just going to put the 6 ounces in the 13-gallon tank. It dissolves instantly. I've tried that before. It doesn't say to use it that way, but if you can use it for VLM cleaning or with a pad, then there's no reason. And the last job I did, I went back. I had to check it anyway, so I went back, and it looked beautiful. So it says it dries to a powder or to a crystal, and then it can be vacuumed up. Here's the original lid, and I put a piece of Velcro on it so that when I'm using the machine or the booster, I don't lose that. And here's the Green Dragon. I'll definitely be ordering some more of this. It's going to make short work of the job today without pre-spraying and everything, and you'll see the water will come out nice and dirty. And I am using a wider tip jet. I have 2 wands, and this one has a wider jet so that when I'm not pre-spraying, I can really flush the carpets out with the fluid that's in the tank. And I'm telling you, this thing has a lot of CFM and total inches of water left. I think it's over 269, 289. I mean, it will suck a cat off of a curtain 40 yards away. Not that I would do that. I love cats. Sorry. But it's got plenty of power, and I've been doing this since '93. I used to do nothing but truck mount. Got into the VLM. I love the VLM. I love the Oric Orbiter. And actually, a lot of people will say, why didn't you use the Oric on this one? because really all it needs is a good polishing on the fibers. But believe it or not, this steam cleaning method, just running 75 foot of hose up, filling up the machine, and then wanding it, is actually faster and easier than VLM. Now if I had to pre-spray it and scrub with a brush or scrub with an Oreck and then steam clean it, yeah, no way, I would do the VLM. But that's not the case today, and it cleans great. And I usually do this method when I don't pre-spray. I just use the Odoban 3-in-1, which is a fantastic cleaner. But since I decided to try this Green Dragon, I'm really digging the product. I even took little plastic like plate, or not plate, but like a salsa dish that my wife has, and I poured a little bit of the solution into the dish and let it dry overnight, just to verify that it does dry. And it does dry into a little plasticky crystal type stuff, so you don't have to worry about any residue at all. And of course, with my bad foot here, I made the mistake of not pulling the hose up far enough. And you can see there's that 75 foot of hose. I could technically have just left the machine standing up in the van if I chose to do that. And I've done that before. You've probably seen some previous videos where the Eclipse machine, it's got 4 2-stage vacs in it, and I leave that in the van. And I used to have a generator that I had in the van, but I decided I'm not trying to be fancy. I'm just trying to do the best job possible. So it's, what does it take, 2 seconds to unload the machine and set it at the back of the van or at the front door? I never bring it in a customer's house. You just don't have to. That's the only reason why I would never use a portable. In the old days, when I had a truck mount, I used to see these guys dragging their portables upstairs and draining them near the nearest toilet, and oh my gosh, what a nightmare, right? And then when I ended up downsizing and using my portable, and that's because I have a lot of apartment accounts and some commercial work, but I realized I got a vacuum gauge and I put 50 foot of hose on there, and this is pool hose here, really lightweight, the first 50 foot, and then the water line is actually air line. It weighs 2 pounds. I mean, I can take 50 foot of hose on just my thumb, carry the whole thing upstairs. And as far as doing the stairs, it doesn't drag down and pull you backwards. You don't get tired and sweaty. And then the second part of the hose I used was a regular extractor hose. They're both 1.5 inch, and I've used pool hose for 14 years and never had a problem when I used my portable. And like I was saying, these are the bigger jets. These are the 95 is the angle, and then an 03. And I usually use an 02, but an 03 will put out quite a bit of water. And when I don't pre-spray, I use these jets. That way the water is being sprayed out and flushing the carpets really good. You can see how clean they look. Nice looking. Got some shadows coming in the windows, but hey. I hope you guys are all doing well with this doggone coronavirus, man. I get really nervous myself. My wife just hates it that I'm even working. And I have an excuse, I broke my foot, as you could see in the previous videos, but I can't sit still. I cannot sit still. I did get my, look at all that hose. I did get my Scott 2-gallon lithium battery operated pump up sprayer, which is not a pump up because it's battery operated. I'm gonna do an unboxing on that later. And my poly pizza pan, that flat poly plastic 15-inch unit came in, so I'll be setting up my Oreck so that I can use a 15-inch pad on it, so stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, it's simple, and I'm going to show you my setup. I mean, I can run 100 foot of hose, and I do $3 million houses and up on the island up here. I just did a $1.8 million house, you can see previously, and my customers love me. I mean, all they care about is getting it clean. Now, here's the mistake. I'm going to drain it, but you see all that water on the floor? What happened was I forgot I was using the bigger jets, the O3s. So I can only do about, maybe 2.5 rooms before I need to come dump it. And I did 3.5 rooms like I would normally do with the O2s on there. And so I sucked up too much water. And because of the extra power with the booster on there, when it gets about 3/4 of the way full, it starts to cyclone the solution that's in the dirty tank. It starts to spin or something. You can kind of look in there and see, and it will spin really, really hard. And actually, I think it increases the power at that point. But the uptake in there that has the filter on it starts to lift the water, and it runs through my vacuums that are on the bottom of the machine, which is not good. What I'll have to do when I get back home is open it up, take the filter off, and just turn both vacs on and just squirt WD-40 into the vacuum motors from the waste tank. And what that does is it goes up into those vacs and actually dries them out, so you don't have any rust or anything in there. It's not good for the vacuums to pull water through there, but I've done it again. I've had vacuums. These are brand new vacs. I just put those on a couple months ago, and I have my other machine. You can see looking good. The Eclipse, I ended up going in and to find out, because I've had time off. I went over to Seattle, and they had told me that the machine got damaged. They were going to do the repairs for me. So the machine's not even there. I think it's kind of in an industrial area, and they leave the garage open, and I think somebody stole the unit. I had a bunch of upgrades on it. I mean, that thing was a monster. And so now they're going to settle at $3,200. And I don't know if I'm going to buy another machine or if I'm going to just buy an additional Tornado, because they're half the price. And with the booster, it's only $500 for the booster. You can get the whole setup for about $2,000. So really easy, lightweight. My van is a small NV200 Nissan. I don't have to leave the truck running. You're actually very versatile. I just don't have a need for a truck mount right now. Nothing against truck mounts. I love the truck mounts. That's where I started, and that's what I'm from. So, and there's that 50-foot of pool hose. And I mean, I'm telling you, with that little lightweight air hose on there, it is simple to lift it. And I use a 15-foot extra piece I had, so that I can use it for a drain hose, so I don't have to use buckets. That's the other thing. If you guys use a portable, man, there's the trick right there. No more running buckets or dumping buckets. Just hook the hose up, out it goes. Let me show you. It unscrews real simple. I always put a little bit of Vaseline around the edge of right there, so that it goes good. And there's a lint screen there. You want to clean the lint screen off after each use. But man, that thing's powerful. And I already have a backup, another 3-stage vac in a box in my work shed, so that if that one goes out, just take the bolts out and switch it. It's simple. I also have a couple more sets of vacs that were for the the Eclipse, or for the Eclipse unit. I've got, I think, 4 double stage vacs. I don't know if they're going to fit the Tornado. I'm going to have to find out. They're the same amount of suction, so we'll see. But you can see this screws back on. If I'm going to leave the machine sitting for 48 hours or longer, I carry that Poo-Pourri spray, and I spray that lemon Poo-Pourri in the tank. There's the finished results. Didn't take me very long, guys. Very easy. So if you're considering hot water extraction, why not, right? It's not that expensive to get into. So here's my setup. I got the Oreck, I got the vacuum, I got my Green Dragon, I got some chemicals there, chemicals underneath, 2 wands, spray bottles full of different cleaners, more chemicals under the towel. That box there is my small orbital for furniture and upholstery. I got lots of 2 different hoses. I can run 50 foot of hose if I need to through the garden. And then there's the 50 foot of hose right here. The first 50 foot usually does 90% of the homes. And then I carry 2 25 footers. And like in this case, I needed 75 foot. I got my drain hose hung up, bucket hanging, my 2 wands, my groomers. There's the 2 vacs in the bottom of the Tornado. I added a hose to exhaust it out. That's what that little circle is on the bottom left there. And just got to put that hot water line away. And if you do use a hot water heater, make sure you buy a Rubbermaid hose that is rated for hot water. I've seen people put their regular hose on and it just explodes from the heat. You can get, I'd say the water was probably 170, 180 degrees today. That's a measuring tool you can roll. And I got my bucket heaters down on the bottom. I'm gonna throw this up in there. I carry some vinegar, and I usually run a couple cups of vinegar through the clean water tank. Every now and then, just let it run through all my hoses and through the system, and it gets any of the alkaline buildup out so that it doesn't build up in the lines. And this should fit in there good. There you go. This is a 3-tier shelf I got from Home Depot. I like having it on the door. And then I've got, these doors, they're fantastic. They open wide. All the neighbors drive by, and as far as they know, I'm using a truck mount. They can't see. All they see is hoses running, and that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the walk around and little explanation of my equipment. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. And like I said, look forward to my next videos. And for now, I'm going to shut her down and head out of here. Make sure to hit the subscribe button.